Hey, it's Jen and Camille.
Hi.
And we today are talking about where should I live when I move to LA?
Where do I live? It's a big question.
Okay, so when you first move to LA, figuring out where to live can be challenging because LA is a very big city.
Very, very, very spread out. It's huge.
Yeah, it's one of the first things that anybody that's describing LA to you who has lived here for some time will tell you. It's a very spread out city and it's what makes it unique and different. So there are lots of different pockets, lots of different little neighborhoods to live in, and each one has kind of its own vibe and its own feel, and over time you start to, find what speaks to you. So today we are hoping to tell you about some of these different neighborhoods. We're only going to zero in, there are so many, so we're just going to talk about a few of our favorites and the ones that we think are most conducive to an actor's lifestyle and living in Los Angeles. But if there's anything that we don't talk about or anything that you would like to address further or go into further detail, you can join our membership, and we are available to you to continue the conversation and tell you more about a neighborhood we're talking about today, or tell you about a different neighborhood that maybe you know about or you've read about and you want to hear about that.
Yeah,
right?
We'll help you through your process.
We'll help you through your process. So we've broken it down by basically two categories, which are what's closest to the hub. When we're talking about the hub, we're talking about where the industry, meaning the film and TV industry, is mostly located. And that's kind of a hard thing to even say because it happens a lot of different places, but it's primarily kind of in one area, which is like Hollywood and a part of the valley. So when we say it's 15 minutes from the hub, we're trying to give you an idea of this is how far you're going to be, this is how long it will take you to drive. We're also going to break each area down by how expensive it is. So LA is a pretty expensive city in general to live in, but some areas of course are more expensive than others, and so we're going to try to give you kind of a feel of which is the more expensive areas and which are the less expensive areas.
So when we're talking about distance, you also want to take into account traffic. So traffic is a real thing here.
What's traffic? I don't know about traffic.
Traffic is a lot of cars and you're not moving anywhere, and it takes about like an hour to get where you want to go to. So that is a part of where you're going to live in the different neighborhoods. So even though we're giving you a time, you still want to add up to 30 minutes to that time frame that we're giving you.
So if you hate being in your car, if you're one of those people, which I know some of us are.
I just want to say I used to be one of those people, but then I started listening to podcasts.
Yeah, podcasts are a big help.
It's a good option.
Yeah, you can listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. So without further ado, we'll start talking about the neighborhoods. I think Cam, she likes when I call her Cam.
I love it.
Camille's going to start us off. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when I first wanted to move to LA, all I could think about was I'm going to live at the beach. Right. That was where I decided I was going to move to, and I just want to say for the record, I did not end up moving to the beach. However, I will talk about it today because Santa Monica is beautiful. It feels like almost like a casino resort right by the ocean. The ocean is right there. There's the Santa Monica boardwalk. There's little parks and there's little staircases. It's just a very clean, lovely place to live. It's about 25 to 35 minutes to the hub, not including traffic. And it's colder there than in other parts of LA because it's by the ocean.
Cold is relative.
Cold, yes.
75 degrees instead of 95 degrees.
Exactly. Cold is relative. I'm a bit of a wimp now that I live in LA. It's also more expensive, so prices there are a little bit more expensive. Moving to Venice, which is another great area to live by the ocean. Venice is a completely different vibe than Santa Monica. It's gritty, it's eclectic. You have sort of rich producers living by, young up-and-coming artists. So you have more expensive places and more moderate expensive places. There's a whole range. There's the Venice Beach Boardwalk. There's the canals, there's Muscle Beach, all these big places that I'm sure you've heard of. It's sort of like the feel there is more like sandals and flip-flops. So in Santa Monica, where you would maybe wear Prada sandals, in Venice, just some regular old sandals, whatever you could find in some torn off shorts. Super low key and chill.
They're both great places.
They're both great places and about the same distance as well to the hub.
And Venice is also, I would say, on the pricier end. You can find cheaper places, but It's definitely more and more expensive, I think, as time goes on.
It's getting more expensive.
Another great option, though, if you don't want to spend quite as much money, but you still want to be close to the beach, not necessarily looking at the beach, like in Santa Monica and Venice, is Culver City. I love Culver City. Culver City is very up and coming. Like in the last 10 years, Culver City has really changed. There are a lot of great restaurants, movie theaters. You can definitely walk to everything if you live there. And again, you're about 5 minutes from the beach, and it's less expensive, and you're about 20 minutes from the hub. Although Sony Pictures is in Culver City, so you're close to that. And the Kirk Douglas
And the
theaters.
Kirk Douglas is in that area too. So as actors and theater goers, that's a good place for you guys to check out.
Yeah. So moving on, we wanted to talk a little about West Hollywood. West Hollywood is pretty much in the hub, or at least a few minutes from the hub. It has a great nightlife, a lot of gay bars, a lot of restaurants. It's a fun place to walk around. It's the home of Sunset Strip and Santa Monica Boulevard. West Hollywood's very cool. A lot of people, a lot of bungalows to live in. West Hollywood, again, is on the more expensive side.
But you can find some moderately priced apartments in West Hollywood still. So
Yeah.
moderate to more expensive in West Hollywood.
Definitely. And then moving a little further east, there's Hollywood, which is obviously right next to West Hollywood, which is a little cheaper. So you're not going to spend quite as much for an apartment in Hollywood as you would in West Hollywood. It's a little edgier. A lot of artists live in Hollywood. It's also pretty touristy. So if that's not your scene, then you know, you might not enjoy it as much, but it can also be fun. It's like the Hollywood Walk of Fame with all the stars on the ground, and you look out your window and there's the Hollywood sign. You really feel like you're in Hollywood. So that's an exciting place to live, and that is right in the hub. So if transportation is a challenge, I would say Hollywood is a great place to live and be very central.
It's also where Theater Row is, so another great place for actors to know. It covers a wide area, so there's a lot of stuff happening in Hollywood. Silver Lake and Los Feliz. I'm pronouncing it Los Feliz because I have a father who actually is Latin, so I'm actually pronouncing
So she
it the
has
right
to.
way.
Most of us pronounce it Los Feliz, but Camille pronounces it
Everybody
authentically.
pronounces it Los Feliz, and I just want to acknowledge that because that's actually the way you're going to hear it said in Los Angeles. So Los Feliz and Silver Lake, we've kind of grouped them together. They're actually two areas that are right next to each other, and they're very, very hip. I would call them like the hipster of the hip places
They're
to
really
live.
cool. They're much too cool for either,
They're too
especially
cool.
her. She should not live in. No,
I'm
kidding.
I
should
have
never
to say,
live.
I did live there for a while when I
Yeah.
first moved here, and very often I felt like I was not dressed cool enough. Anyways, it's a great area because the feel there is very European. So it feels like you can walk around and you're sort of like you're in LA, but it just has this feel like maybe you're traveling somewhere else, which I think is always a good thing and always a fun thing when you're living in a city. What's great about that area too is it's right next to Griffith Park. Griffith Park is where the Hollywood sign is, and it has all these great hikes. So if you're somebody that's like, okay, I'm moving to this big city, I'm okay with that, I'm great with that, but I'm gonna need some nature, it's a good place to live because you can escape in a matter of minutes. Just up the street, go up, and you'll find a great hike that you can take. Silver Lake kind of feels a little bit more like Seattle. A lot of coffee connoisseurs. Again, a little outside of my realm. You will hear of the Intelligentsia Cafe, great place to go to. This is also closer to the hub, so it's like 15 to 20 minutes from the different studios around town. Price range, it is moderately to more expensive. There's a lot of stuff around there in that area that you might happen upon something cheaper, but for the most part, it's moderate to more expensive. Another great place to live, especially if you are needing to save more money, is Koreatown. And the way that I would describe Koreatown, which I actually also lived in Koreatown, is cement. There's cement everywhere. There are some trees. There's occasional greenery, not many, but if you are a karaoke fan or you really like Korean barbecue, hey, move to Koreatown, save some money. It's very close to the hub as well. It's like 15 to 20 minutes, and it's the prices are very cheap. So I'd say cheaper to more moderately priced in that area. A lot of people who live in Koreatown live there because they want to be close to downtown, which is the other place that we're going to talk about. And downtown is really cool. If you really are a city person and you want to be moving to a city, you want to move to downtown. It's totally up and coming now. So there's this range of architecture that's happening downtown that's just incredible. You have lofts, you have studios, you have great apartments, you have old buildings that are being refurbished, you have great places to go eat. It has this very kind of New York feel.
To me, when you're in a apartment in downtown LA and you're 6 floors up and you're looking out at the city and you're just seeing lights, it feels like any other city. It feels like you're in New York City, which a lot of the rest of LA does not feel like. But if you like that super urban feel, which many people do, downtown is a very cool place to live. It's super cultural. So if you like to go to museums, if you like to go to the Philharmonic, if you like to see theater, and not the type of theater that we were talking about before, which is like more the small grungy theater, but if you like the big theaters, downtown is a really cool place to live.
And downtown is moderately to more expensive. There are definitely occasional pockets that you can find that are a little bit cheaper, but that's kind of the price range of downtown. And again, downtown is like 20 to 25 minutes from the hub, depending.
Yeah. So if money is an issue, which it is for many of us, and you want to find a place, because obviously a lot of the places that we've talked about thus far, we're saying they're either moderately expensive or they're more expensive. I think 2 great options are Thousand Oaks and Valencia. Now you are a lot further out of LA. You're more like 30 minutes to maybe an hour outside of LA. But I know a lot of people who have lived in those places. The rents in those 2 places can be as much as half of what they are in the city. So it's really a money-saving situation if you live in those 2 places. And also if you're a person that's moving here with a family, or you just don't really like being in a super urban feel, you want to kind of escape that at the end of each day. These are good options where you still have pretty easy access into the city and to get to the hub, but you're not right in the thick of it and you're paying a lot less for your rent and you're maybe getting a bigger space for a little less money.
So Jen's favorite place is?
Yeah, my favorite, that makes me sound very uncool because my favorite place is the Valley, which is like, if you're a hipster and you live in LA and you say your favorite place is the Valley, it's a little embarrassing, but the Valley is very family friendly. It's very easy to find a place to park, which is important to me.
Yes,
it's
huge.
Yeah, it really is. It's, again, you get a little more bang for your buck in terms of the space that you get for your money. And the Valley is basically, the main parts of the Valley that you'll read about when you're looking for an apartment are Studio City, Sherman Oaks, Encino, Valley Village,
and Burbank.
And Burbank is the Valley. And again, if I was moving here with a family, that's probably where I would choose to live. And I do have a family, so that is where I live. It's a good place for kids.
And it's great because it's really right where all the studios are.
It is in the hub.
It's in the hub.
Yeah.
So it's another good option. Like Hollywood is a good option. The Valley is another great option.
For sure. So how do you find these places? So our favorite websites to look for apartments in LA are Trulia, which is a great website. Zillow is a really good option.
And those websites are really just looking for apartments. So if you want to find apartment rentals, those are good websites.
Yeah, and those are both free. Another great website where there is a small fee, I think it's about $65 maybe to join, is a website called Westside Rentals. That's a big website here in LA that a lot of people use to find apartments, so that's another great option. There's also PadMapper, which is for apartment rentals, but it's also for sublets and house sitting, which can be a really interesting
Which is a great
thing.
option.
Yeah, especially if you're not sure how long you're gonna stay, that can be a good option. And then of course there's Craigslist for those rare gems that you can find on Craigslist, which can also be house sitting or sublets on Craigslist.
You can find a lot of stuff on Craigslist. And then there's also Airbnb and the Oakwood Apartments. So the reason why we're saying Airbnb and the Oakwood Apartments is because that gives you a different option. If you want to come to LA and spend like a month here and kind of check it out.
Which we recommend. Get to know it and then decide where you're gonna live, because you'll strongly have a pull probably to one area.
And if you do move to an area and you're not crazy about it, you can always move again. I've moved 4 times.
I've moved 5 in 20 years.
Yes, I've moved 4 times in 5 years. I'm sure I'll move move again. So the Oakwood apartments are a cool option because they're completely furnished, and so they're great to rent for a little while with if you just need some amenities while you're here.
The Oakwood apartments are more expensive than what an apartment would cost, but they're cheaper than what a hotel would cost. So you could stay, it's for people like you that are moving here but maybe not sure that you're staying here for a year. You don't want to sign a year lease, so you can come, be very comfortable, have a furnished apartment while you kind of figure out what you're doing.
And subletting and also just seeing if anybody needs a house sitter is another great option, because again, it gives you that time if you need just a couple months or 3 months to kind of get an idea of LA and the area, but you're not ready to commit yet. It's a great option. We really recommend it.
Yeah.
So you're looking for apartments, or you're in LA, and these are questions you need to know, or you need to think of,
or you want to ask the landlord about your potential apartment rental.
So the first question that you want to ask your landlord or yourself is it walkable? Is there stuff around here that I'm going to enjoy?
If that's important to you, do you want to be in a neighborhood where you can walk? Because many of these neighborhoods you can.
Right. The next question you want to ask is it close to a freeway? Because you're going to be on those freeways all the time, going all the way around LA. It's so nice when you live somewhere close that you can just jump on and off of a freeway.
Yeah.
The next question that you want to ask yourself is, does it have a fridge? Because believe it or not, a lot of apartments in LA don't come with refrigerators. That was shocking to me. The next question that you want to ask yourself is, does it have laundry, washer dryer? If it does, great. Where is it located in the building? Awesome, simple, straightforward. The next question is, if it doesn't, is there a laundromat close by? Will it be walkable? Will it be easy for you to wash your clothes?
The last question, which to me is almost the most important question, is what is the parking like? This is a big question. I have had friends that have gotten into a new apartment and literally broken a lease to move out of the apartment because parking was such a nightmare. So you really want to know that either you have a space where you can park, or that the street parking is not a problem, because they can say, oh, you just park on the street, and then you come to find out it's impossible to park on the street because it's so crowded. So make sure you know.
There are places in LA where after a certain time it is impossible to find any parking. Like
look out for Beechwood Canyon.
8 o'clock, or the Mid-Wilshire area. Yeah. The next question that you just kind of want to think about for yourself is, will I feel safe? You want to be in a place that you feel safe and that you feel comfortable. This is your home. It's a place where you're making your home and it's new. So you want to feel good when you go home. One way that you can do that is just go on Yelp. All the buildings are rated, which is awesome. You can find out a little bit more about the manager, if they're nice, if they fix things on time, all those kind of things that you just want to be aware of. When you're looking for these apartments and when you're ready to sign an apartment, you want to have everything ready. You want to have your paperwork ready, and you want to have all the money ready, because apartments here go so fast. So the minute you see one that you like, you gotta be like, I want it, I'm getting it, either that day or the next day.
Yeah. Do you want cash? Do you want me to sign a check? What do you want?
What do you want? Yeah. Just go for it. It's whatever your gut intuition is. So even if you're like, well, I think I really like it, but I'm not sure, it doesn't matter, just sign the lease.
Yeah.
Now, I know some people worry about like credit score and stuff like that. Just have all that stuff lined up. Someone who can vouch for you, an employer or even a family member that's like, yes, absolutely, they can call me, because you want everything lined up for when you say, yes, I want that place.
Yeah. So we really want to help you with this. So if there's anything that we didn't cover, please feel free to join our membership and ask us 100 questions if you want to, because we moved here once, all of our friends moved here once. It's complicated, and we want to help you through it.
Welcome to LA.
Welcome to LA.